Hey Tom, nice to see you.
Good to see you, thanks for coming by.
We're here in the lovely UA, this is one of the studios here.
It's studio, we're with KMR Audio and UA, so we're UK representing.
What I have noticed, you got the new pedals, because I don't think we've seen them. I saw the news, but I haven't actually seen what they are and what they do. So,
yeah, well, so what we've got hooked up here is the Prophet synth, and then we've got the Golden, Starlight and Astra, the first three UAFX pedals. So Golden Reverberator, which is a sort of powerhouse reverb unit, comes with some of our tried and tested things like the Lex 224 style Hall algorithm and the plate 140 style, so you get your 50 style plate reverb, and then the all new spring, which is like a spring tank from a classic amp, you know, very surfy. So you have that in the Golden, and then we have the Starlight Echo Station, which has a tape echo, like the EP3 style. Then there's an analog bucket brigade delay, which is super grimy.
Is that actual? I mean, are these running UA? Are these running UA algorithms and DSP stuff, or are these analog? That's what...
Oh, so these are digital pedals.
Yeah.
So they are A to D in, processed in digital,
Gotcha.
and then spat back out analog again. They have options for things like tree bypass for people that really care about that in their pedal rigs. You know, so it's like a complete hardwiring around the guts of it, or we have buffered bypasses available, things like tail spillover for delays where you get the trails to still spill over when you put it into bypass, things like that, which is great for guitar players or synth players that want to spice things up. But inside they are running UAD algorithms.
Right, okay, so we're getting the sort of top draw DSP stuff.
Oh yeah, but we're not only that, but they're true stereo, so it's actually a full left and right discrete path in all of them. So you're actually getting effectively double the processing. So they're incredibly powerful inside. And a lot of the algorithms have either been made for UAFX, so we've revoiced them, retweaked them, or we've done new ground up algorithms as well. So things like the Spring, for example, which started in Golden Reverberator, is now in the new pedals we've just launched, which are amp pedals, amp emulator pedals. This is the Dream 65 reverb amp.
Are they made of aluminium or something? They're really...
It's a really beautiful, it's like I think it's a milled and cast enclosure. Yeah, it's lovely. And it's a two-piece kind of thing that slots together. They really are lovely in real life. And with the classic sort of 1176 style knobs on them, you get that look and feel that's very UA. But they are designed to be almost like you would have found them in the 60s, and they've existed forever. They're more or less one knob per function. With the amp pedals, there's a couple of dual function controls, but more or less on the original three, time-based, modulation effects, they are one knob per function and very easy to use. So you have an on mode to put your pedal in. That, like I say, could be a true bypass or a buffered, depending on how you set them up with. There's a Bluetooth app that can connect to each pedal. Then you just select your algorithm really quickly with the toggle switch. When you buy one, the first three red LEDs are the included algorithms, but you register them to uaudio.com.
You can put your own stuff in, yeah?
Well, so we don't let you have access to it as like a UAD platform where you can download different algos as such, but when you register them, there are bonus algorithms included to expand the functionality, which is really a sort of a Easter egg to get people to register the pedal and get better value.
Can we hear? Because I know we got the sequential Prophet 10 there.
So if Pedro, my trusty assistant, pops in to play the Prophet, we'll start with the synth dry, and then we'll build a patch with some reverb, delay and modulation, and then we'll show you how you can amp up as well. It's obviously dry, so I think first up let's go for a big Washi plate reverb here. So what you have here, big free delay, 3 different plate types, so A, B and C mode switch here. So we could take a slightly more vintage detuned plate there and really crank the delay. Then you have some tone controls if you wish. You can apply a lot of modulation to things as well.
Oh, nice. It's sort of subtle but also quite fulsome.
Yeah, I think if you play a staccato note, Pedro, you'll hear that there's a lot going on there. Or can we get maybe with a much shorter?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Getting some Vangelis vibes.
Yeah, totally. So you can really rock kind of that type of thing with the plate. We go to the 224 type algos. Here now the bass and treble controls become decay times. Yeah, very pitchy modulation here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a lot of regen as well, yeah.
Huge amount. So you can then filter off the decay time at low frequencies. So you get sort of like almost contextual controls
I
depending
like
on
that.
the
I like
algo.
when you can change the decay time for the high and the low separately. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, I think when you crank the highs and you have a really big delay time, if we just play something on that, Pedro, you can get that sort of like swimmy high pass filter effect on it. Or we could go the other way and do it really low. Try something there.
Right, gotcha.
So that's got that nice pitch bounce in it. So you could have a little reverb. Then we could go to, say, Starlight. You have the echo sort of style of tape echo, where we could go with a bunch on this. We can make it self-oscillate if we go with some of that.
There's some analog saturation and distortion in there as well, I think. Sounds nice. Oh, nice. Very spacey.
Yeah, and it will do all the sort of, it does some, on the mode C it's a bit more used, so you get like a kind of minty fresh tape, and then you come down to one with like, you can hear the tape slips in the tape loop as it spins around, and
Interesting.
do some pretty cool stuff. Then you could go to, say, like this Bucket Brigade delay style, which is very, very distorted sounding if we wanted it to be. Just go with that. Try that, Pedro.
Nice.
You can do some really, and there's no zippering or anything, you know.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
good. So they're really good fun, and there's a lot of flavour in here in all the different modes, but it's super simple to use. You can just dial them in by hand, you know, really interactive. And then finally, with, say, the Astra modulation machine, we can go with just a very sort of subtle chorus with some stereo width, potentially. Just try that, Pedro. I'll back off the reverb and do it.
Yes, I mean, I'm channeling a bit of John Carpenter there.
It just sounds huge, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice.
And then just to give ourselves a reminder, so really good fun, you know. I think so for synth people, and definitely like Sonicstate guys and girls, you know, checking out the original 3 UAFX pedals for the reverb, delay and modulation, world of fun on synthesizers.
Yeah.
But then when you come into something like this Dream 65 reverb amp, we have another 2 up here, the Woodrow and the Ruby, which are like a sort of tweedy style and a classic British Class A style amplifier.
Right, so they're pedal amp sims, effectively.
Yeah, and these ones are more dedicated. So where the first 3 are obviously a mixture of algorithms, some of our tried and tested, like flanging. Astra also has some extra things like it has an opto-based amp tremolo and a harmonic tremolo that you would find in different tube amplifiers. So there's some new development in all of these, but also some tried and tested. Where the amp pedals sort of focus in is they are like a one knob per function, absolute end-to-end circuit model of a specific amp, more or less.
Gotcha.
But so with the Dream 65, we've got this switch over here now is no longer like an algorithm, it's a cabinet type, so it uses the dynamic speaker modeling and what we would call cab mic room that you find on the aux. So you can now go through, instead of IRs, there are no IRs in here at all. It's a live real-time model of a cabinet mic'd up with, you know, great quality preamps in a studio. You can, in the last position, turn off the cabinet, no LED on, and that will let you play it into your own amp as an overdrive pedal, or use it for synths where you don't necessarily want to band pass it like you would with a cabinet.
Gotcha.
But basically on on purchase you get 3 cabs, that's the 3 red positions, and then on registration you get 3 new bonus cabinets. So there's actually 6 cabs.
So
in
is there
each
some kind
pedal.
of USB connectivity component to this?
There's a USB-C on the back which lets you register them through the desktop app or do firmware updates, but actually you can just Bluetooth to them and register through the Bluetooth app. And then we've now updated the Bluetooth app with the release of the second set of pedals, the amp pedals, and that Bluetooth app now allows you to browse like hundreds of artist presets. So we've got likes of David Ryan Harris, plays for John Mayer, and we've got Danish Pete and all these like classic people in there, Oz Noy, Lincoln Brewster. There's some really big name guitar players that have done presets, but also James Santiago, our own product guy for this and tour. They've gone back and done presets, not just for the amp pedals, but also for these 3. And in some of those presets that you can access through the app now, you can do some cool things where, because they're dual mono or true stereo, I should say, you've got, in some cases, a different delay on the left and right channels.
Okay, so you can do
a twisted sort of ping pong type of effect and things like that. So it's really worth getting the app and just browsing through all the different settings that you have for those. But they just sound absolutely epic.
They do sound nice.
Yeah.
What sort of price are they going at?
Around £350, depending on where you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much.
Nice to see you. Thanks so much.
And
Cheers,
thank
mate.
you, Pedro.
Thank you.